What is up, people? My name is James. I'm here with Magic Shop San Diego to bring you a review, and today we are going to talk about Ring in the Box by Reynold Alexander. This is a new release from Penguin Magic. I think you guys will enjoy this, but before we give you my full opinion on this whole thing, let's go into the nitty-gritty of what it is. So what is Ring in the Bell, right? Ring in the Bell is a close-up effect. You borrow a spectator's finger ring, make their finger ring disappear, and showing them a magical bell that will do that for them. So you give them the bell, they wave it over the hand, and then it disappears, right? And you say, here, I'll bring it back, and you wave over, and as you open up your hand to bring it back, it doesn't come back, and you go, there's a reason why. It's because ring the bell, right? Ring in the bell, and it's gonna, play on words and show that the ring is inside the bell now. So that's pretty much the gist of the effect. Let's get into more detail about if this is right for you or not. All right, so this retails at $60 US, and what you get for $60 US is the link, which I'm covering there, as well as the bell. Now, this is a gimmick bell that you will be using for the routine, and you need this bell specifically. You cannot use any other bell. This one is it. I mean, I guess you could modify your own, but then why would you spend $60 on something when you have a bell that works fine as it is? So talking about the quality of the bell, right, that you receive, it's not a bad quality. It definitely feels like a cheap metal. Like if I were to drop this or ding it, it would kind of dent or get beat up pretty quickly if I didn't really take care of it. I'm sure most of you are going to well taking care of your props and stuff like that, but this, I would say, maybe wouldn't last forever. I mean, it's really just a wooden dowel and a metal bell, so I guess really it should last. I mean, but it's just not, it's definitely not a bell that you would feel you pick up and it's like super heavy, right? It's not one of those. It's definitely a little bit of a weaker bell. So with the instructions, you're receiving roughly an hour-long tutorial, a little bit under an hour. I think it's like 51 minutes or something like that. And that goes through all the ins and outs that you could ever imagine you'll need with this bell. It teaches you the vanishes of the ring, how to load the ring into the bell, and all this stuff. And it walks you through everything you could ever possibly imagine with trying to do this effect. So first, let's kind of talk about the pros, and then we'll go into the cons, right? So the pros of this is obviously that it is a borrowed spectator's ring. They kind of give you the limits of what you should and shouldn't use. So you really shouldn't use a, very like a diamond ring or something like that. You should use like a man's band. It's just more safe. There's no reason to take the risk if you don't need to. And within that, the video, you're also seeing live performances of Reynold Alexander doing the effect from the people. Nick Lapoco. He's gonna kill me. I know this guy. Nick Lapoco is the guy doing the instructions for this, and he gives you full detail. He's very, very clear at what he's expressing and all this stuff. So watching the instructions is very straightforward. It's not like there's any complicated things where you're not going to understand. They do a really good job of explaining everything you could possibly imagine. They also share with you things that you could use with other props, as far as like different things you could buy, or you might already have them in your house, as well as making the ring disappear and different variations of that vanish. So they don't just give you one way of doing it and that's it, which is nice because it might be different for working different environments, and you want to have the right fit for yourself. So having a little bit of guide to that point definitely helps out with the instructions, showing you all those things you could possibly need. Another pro of the effect is obviously that you are doing something with borrowing a spectator's object, and then it is vanishing and it's going on to something instantly onto a bell. And it's not that hard to put on there. It's really not. It's not that difficult at all. So I would say, like, if you were to rate it a 1 to 5, I would say, as far as difficulty level, I would say it's probably like a 2, right? It's not extremely difficult. I think you could really get away with it being kind of more of a beginner in Magic. I don't think this would be difficult for you at all to handle. So that's pretty much most of the pros that I would say with this. Now, if we kind of talk about the cons, right? The cons with this effect is pretty much that it is a bell, and this bell is what you need. You can't use anything else as far as other ways. But it's not a con necessarily. But I just don't know if I would necessarily want to carry this bell around with me if I was strolling. You want to keep as little on you as possible with highest impact and easy to carry around with you. And I don't think I would ever take this to an event. I might do it in like a parlor show, which could work, but I think most of all it wouldn't really work for close-up or strolling, because you would have to carry around this bell with you, which I'm sure people will use it. Just me personally, I wouldn't do that. Other con of this is that I really don't like using borrowed rings of spectators. I find that it's usually very sentimental most of the time, a ring. And people may disagree with me on this. I just think that if you're using something that's sentimental and you can potentially damage it or risk of ruining the object, which it's hard to ruin a men's band, obviously, but if you take the risk in using a women's band and all that stuff, it just, there's risk to it that I just don't see as really necessary. And they actually explain that in the instructions. Nick explains that there's really no reason for you to take a woman's ring, because just look around, see there's other rings out there. If you take a gander at who's out there and wearing what rings, you know what I mean? So he kind of shares with that in the instructions. But that's really the only cons that I would say, is that it's just a bell and you have to carry around this bell, right? That's kind of the sucky part. But other than that, it's a super impressive effect, and I really think you'll enjoy it. So why would you do this over something else as far as an object to impossible location, right? And the answer is really basic on this one. It's not better than the others, as far as, in my opinion. It's not like it's not better than a ring flight. It's not better than, you know, any really other effect out there where a ring disappears and ends up in a certain location. It's just different, right? So if it fits your personality, right, that's the best way to look at it. You need to make sure that it fits you as a person. If it fits you and you're like, yeah, I like to use objects that make noise, or I like to really call attention to certain things, like as far as making the bell ring, you know, and you want to use this bell, they explain to you that you can use this bell throughout your routine, right? So if that's something you do and you go, I want this to be a magic moment, then by all means, this is great, because then it makes sense. You're carrying this around with you because that's the magic that happens, right? So make a card jump to the top, ring the bell, it jumps to the top, right? Just a base example, right? Do all those kinds of things. That's what this would be good for. But as far as any other kind of ring to impossible location, if you're looking for a unique way of doing it, this is great. But if you're looking for like the next greatest ring to impossible location, I don't think this is it. I think it's just a unique way of doing it. But that doesn't mean the effect is bad by any means. It's actually very good. It's just that it's just very specific to having this bell, carrying it around with you. And those are things to think about when you're buying magic. You want to make sure that it fits you as a person. I think it's one of the most common things that we miss as magicians. We just see the effect and see the reactions and go, oh, that's great, I want to do that. But then when we get it, it doesn't work the same for us because it just doesn't fit for us, right? So we want to make sure that when you're looking at magic and you're thinking, is this right for me? Is this not right for me? Think about what you're doing already and see if it'll fit within your routine, and if you can segue into it to make sense, and you can bring all these things into a whole performance piece, because that really is the important part of that. So I know this was a really, really fast review, but I think there's really not much to it. They do a really good job of explaining what you're getting, what you need to do, the video. There's not much really to review on this, as far as letting you know that what you're seeing is really what it is, and letting you know that if you're contemplating it, just make sure it fits your personality, and make sure that it fits you as a magician. And if that works for you and everything is great, then this is all hunky-dory, as they would say. I don't really know where would they say that? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope it gave you a little more information to help know whether this is a great product for you or not. Just wanted to let you guys know that we do these reviews purely as a way to give you more information about these products. So it's not we have no biased opinion on any of these, and we just want to help you out as much as possible here at Magic Shop San Diego. So if you like this product, I'll leave some links in the description below. If you guys could like, subscribe, do all those things that most of the YouTubers ask you to do. Also, we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the different platforms. So if you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to us directly, and I will see you guys in the next video.